Hello, I'm going to show you how to make a mini DIY greenhouse. If you're new here, my name's Ellie and I am a urban cut flower and veggie grower here in Taupo, New Zealand. That's gardening zone 9B. I grow my own flowers and sell them just to make a little bit of extra cash, and I love sharing everything about the flower growing process and inspiration as well. So I've only had my outdoor greenhouse for just a little bit over a year now, and before that I raised 90% of my seedlings using my mini DIY greenhouses, both veggie seedlings and cut flower seedlings. I have found using this method just gives me a jump start on the coming seasons. So when you go to the garden centres just at the start of spring and they have established tomato plants or established cosmos flowers, and you think, oh my gosh, they must have started these in winter. You are right. So I'm going to show you how you can start your seedlings in winter too, to get a jump start on that spring period. So you're just going to need a few supplies. So you're going to need a plastic container. I prefer the wider, shallower ones. You'll see why when we add the grow lights in a second. So first up is a plastic container, a clear plastic container. Secondly, you are going to need a heat mat. I use a heat mat just to speed things along, especially with those seeds that can take a little bit longer to germinate, like your snapdragons. I've just found I don't have to be so patient if I'm using a heat mat. It's really good for chilies, tomatoes, cucumbers as well. Now, it's not totally necessary. I didn't have a heat mat for the first kind of few months that I trialed this method, and it works fine. It just takes a few days longer to germinate seeds. So if you haven't got the budget for a heat mat yet, don't worry, not totally essential. Next up, you are going to need grow lights, and I would suggest buying grow lights to your budget. So this is where, if you do have a little bit more money to spend, I would spend it on kind of more powerful grow lights. I started off with the cheapest ones you can get though, and they are absolutely fine. The next thing you're going to want is a mist sprayer. So the last thing you want to do is sow all your seeds and then take a hose to it or a powerful watering can to it and wash those seeds away, especially with those really tiny seeds again. So a mist sprayer just helps it keep the environment nice and humid inside the tub without blasting all your seeds away. So you are just going to sow your seeds like normal, and you're going to place them inside your tub. Your tub is going to be on top of your heat mat, your grow lights are going to be attached there, and it's going to be inside. And the spot you want to keep it inside is a nice, bright, sunny location. So if you do have kind of more budget-friendly grow lights, they do their job, but you might still get a little bit of legginess on your seedlings if you don't have enough natural light as well. So leggy seedlings is when the seedlings try and stretch too far to reach the light source, and they become really tall but quite weak and spindly as well, so not ideal. So you want a nice, bright, sunny place in the house to pop your tub. I've got mine just underneath my bedroom window. You can see on the tub on the right, I've just attached those grow lights to the lid of the tub, and you can see now why we wanted a shallower tub, just so that the lights are closer to the seedlings to again prevent them from stretching towards that light and becoming leggy. Now this is in a nice bright space in my bedroom, lots of natural light, and they are just on top of heat mats as well. It's growing in my tubs at the moment. But looking inside, I've got statice, I've got some forever silver going on there, and then also some of the soft pastel mix, and then I've got some straw flower, some white straw flower. I wasn't sure if they were going to germinate because the seed was a little bit older, and straw flower really likes fresh seed, but they're coming on. And I've got basil, probably a few too many basil, salvia, which are just starting to germinate. I'm not sure if you can see on the top right there. And then penstemon, which are germinating too. These are a perennial, penstemon twisel white. And then tomatoes. Now this is my upgraded grow light setup. So this is just inside my closet actually, because I have to hang the grow light from something, and this shelf was really useful. And I can fit a couple of tubs under this space, and the light is intense enough that it can reach all of those tubs. So I've just got some kind of chili cucumber, some cresspedia, which is also known as billy buttons, going on in here. And it's just a little bit more of an investment, but it definitely kind of multiplies my indoor space. People often ask me about ventilation. I have found me just lifting the lid up and having a look at those seedlings, not 1,000 times a day, but a couple of times a day just to see if they've germinated. That creates enough airflow initially, and I've never had to drill kind of any extra holes in there. Sometimes I will just leave the lid ajar if it's getting a little bit too kind of moist and hot in there, and that just kind of airs it out as well. Now, once your seedlings are at a good kind of height and a good growth stage that you're happy with, you're going to want to harden them off outside just like you would any other seedlings. And this is totally dependent on your gardening zone, your frost dates and everything like that as well. So here in 9B, I will raise them as long as I can now inside. We're coming towards the end of winter. And then I'm going to move them outside gradually and harden them off. So when I move them outside, I'm going to move them to a warm, sunny location that's not getting a load of direct sunlight on the seedlings that haven't experienced that yet. So I've got a nice brick wall. The house is made of brick, so I'm going to put them against the brick because it's nice and warm still. But it's got a little like kind of awning over the house, so they're not going to get blasted with sunlight while they're still kind of quite tender. Now, after they've been there for a couple of days, I can gradually introduce them to direct sunlight and just help them acclimatize to their new growing conditions. Now, if we're still getting frosts here when I'm ready to move them out, I will just stick a frost cloth over the top just to make sure if they are kind of tender annuals that aren't going to enjoy a frost, that they're going to be protected from that as well. Here you can see I've got some statice seedlings and some scabiosa seedlings as well, and these are just outside against the brick wall that I was talking about before. So this area, the frost can't reach it. It's still getting natural light, but not a whole lot of harsh direct sunlight, because you can see they haven't got their true leaves yet. So true leaves are the second set of leaves that will emerge after the first, and they're kind of a lot more hardy than these very tender initial leaves. So I germinated these inside the tub basically just to speed them along a bit, but these are cold hardy once established as well. So once they kind of are settled in, I'll pop a frost cloth over them, and then once the roots are strong enough, the frost cloth can come off and they can handle frost just fine. So this is just a little frost cloth that I've got on a new bed. Now I have snapdragons in here that I have raised indoors, and I've actually planted these in ground. Now snapdragons don't mind the cold, but because these aren't used to it yet, I have hardened them off like I said before, but I am just going to give them that protection of a frost cloth as well. It will just help them establish to have nice strong roots before they get hit with kind of a -4 frost. Now there are definitely some seeds that you don't want to use this method with as well. So seeds that kind of prefer your cooler methods, they're not going to love being stuck on a heat mat inside a really warm house. So I still germinate like my delphinium and my larkspur. I don't use a heat mat for. I found kind of outdoors is fine for those. So definitely kind of do your research into which seeds like that kind of 18 to 22 degree germination temperature, and those are the ones that are going to really love it. I've just seen my so this is just unheated here, and my malva's just popped up. So this is just an example of one that's not necessarily gonna really need the heat. It probably would have been a little bit quicker if I germinated them on the heat mat, but it's also fine just out here in the cool as well. Now you do want to keep timings in mind. Now for something like zinnia, I wouldn't want to start them too early in the middle of winter, because even by the time they're large enough indoors, the soil outside isn't going to be warm enough to transplant them. So do think about your timings and the conditions that your plants will like when you are moving them onto the outside. Even though I am lucky enough to have a greenhouse outdoors now, I still use my mini indoor greenhouses to raise 90% of my seedlings. I just really love the control it gives me over the seeds, and especially those ones that can take a little bit longer to germinate or a little bit trickier to germinate. I've just found this is kind of the most reliable way of doing things. Now, I'm not raising hundreds and hundreds of thousands of seedlings, so this is still an efficient way for me to do things. I can see if you had, you know, acres and acres of flower farm, it wouldn't be kind of an efficient way of doing things, but for a backyard grower like myself, as I said, I just like the control, I like the reliability, and it's budget friendly as well. I know how frustrating it can be when you've spent a lot of money on seeds and you're just not getting that germination from them, especially kind of if you're new to growing. So if you do try out this method, please let me know in the comments how it's gone for you and if it's helped you. As I said, this was kind of the thing that went aha for me, and now I just use it all the time, and I'm yet to find a seed that I cannot germinate. Even Lysianthus. I did it once and I'm never going to do it again, but I can tick Lysianthus off my list now, and I do love a good challenge. Every year I try and grow at least one thing that's a little bit finicky. This year I'm doing Astrantia, so yeah, I'm just kind of filming a lot of content for how to germinate Astrantia at the moment. It's going to be kind of a long video to make, but it'll be worth it in the end. If you do enjoy my content, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed as well. It just helps me carry on making videos like this. I will see you next time. I'm so excited for these. Sorry, it's a bit of a sidetrack, but look at them.